Welcome to the Better Life Podcast. I'm April. I'm so glad you're here today. If it's your first time, welcome. This podcast is all about having a better life, being better today than we were yesterday. In this episode, we're going to talk about this one thing will steal your joy. Before we get into it, if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to do that today. Check out my YouTube channel and see all the different videos. We have videos on praying over your kids, praying over your house, declarations for your day, declarations for your kids and going to school. We have all kinds of things. You can go to my channel, April Osteen SIMONS, and see the new things that we have coming up every week. This episode is This Will Steal Your Joy. Now, this thing that I'm going to talk about will undoubtedly 100% steal your joy. You ready to know what it is? Unforgiveness. Okay, don't turn the podcast off. It really is true, y'all. Unforgiveness will steal your joy. Now, let me tell you why. Unforgiveness causes you to dwell in the past. Unforgiveness causes you to go back to moments of pain. You rehearse everything that happened. Unforgiveness keeps you trapped. Unforgiveness leads to bitterness and anger. See, bitterness is a result of holding on to negative experiences. It steals your present happiness and your future joy. You want your joy to be stolen from you? Just harbor or dwell on unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a definitive moment that you can rehearse in your mind about something that happened in your life that wasn't good. You know it's true, y'all. I can think of times that I had unforgiveness in my heart. I could tell you what that person was wearing. I could tell you what kind of day it was. It's just a constant reminder of something, maybe something bad happened to us. Maybe we were done wrong. Unforgiveness always steals your joy. It holds you captive to a period of time. You get caught up in yesterday, and you get caught up so much in yesterday and the pain that you can't enjoy today. And it's harder to move forward because you're carrying this pain and you're not letting it go. The key to finding your joy and the key to being better is to forgive. Oh, y'all know it's the truth. Why? Why do you need to forgive? Okay, here's a simple answer. You deserve peace. You deserve to be happy. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude." Man, that is so true, and it's so good. See, forgiveness is a process often. Not always do we just forgive like that. No, it's a process, and sometimes it's a process that we have to work through every single day. Forgiveness doesn't always happen overnight, but when we choose to forgive, then God will help us to get past those bad feelings. Dave Willis said this, "Unforgiveness doesn't make you strong, it makes you bitter. Forgiving doesn't make you weak, it sets you free." That's good stuff, y'all. Forgiveness doesn't make that person that hurts you right, it simply sets you free. Forgiving doesn't mean you always forget, it just means you don't remember with anger. Man, I love that. Forgiving doesn't mean that you're saying, "I approve of what you did to me." No, it means that you're saying, "I choose to rise above it and not let it hold me back any longer." Nelson Mandela said this, "When a deep injury is done to us, we never heal until we forgive." See, y'all, forgiveness doesn't change what happened, but it changes how we feel about what happened. It releases you from carrying around a poison on the inside of you. Forgiveness opens new doors in your life. Forgiveness sets you free. Forgiveness changes your perspective, and it creates a new way to remember. Forgiveness helps you remember that everybody makes mistakes. We all do. See, when you forgive and when you have a forgiving attitude, a forgiving heart, it helps you remember when you're spouse or your loved one messes up, not to focus on the mess up, but to remember that they're a good person and they simply made a mistake. A forgiving attitude doesn't allow a mistake to ruin something beautiful. A forgiving attitude forgives even when they don't say they're sorry. Oh my word, that is so good. If you're waiting for someone to say they're sorry until you forgive them, y'all, it may not ever happen. You have to have that attitude of forgiveness. You have to determine in your heart, I'm tired of my joy being gone from my life. I'm going to choose to forgive, and I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to walk in joy. Walking in forgiveness means giving grace and forgiveness even if they don't deserve it. Oh, that's good. Someone said this, we are very good lawyers for our own mistakes, but very good judges for the mistakes of others. See, again, you'll never forgive if you're waiting to feel like forgiving. You have to make a decision to do it. No one can make you forgive. You have to find it in yourself to forgive. Forgiveness is an action. It's not necessarily a feeling. Forgiveness sometimes, like I said before, it's a decision that you have to make daily. And it doesn't mean that it's easy to do, but you have to have that forgiving heart and say, even though it's hard, I'm going to forgive. I'm going to walk in forgiveness every single day. And you know what? The enemy will always bring back those thoughts. He'll remind you of what they did to you. He will remind you how you were wronged. Every day you have to walk in forgiveness. You have to make a decision every time those feelings come back up. That no, I'm done with that. I'm choosing joy, I'm forgiving, and I'm moving forward. I'm no longer looking back. Listen to this statement. Your wound may not be your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. Man, that's worth the podcast right there. So let me encourage you. Don't live as a hostage to your past. Don't live life rehearsing the wrongs. Nelson Mandela said, as I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. We've got to let it go. See, you can't go back and change the past, but you can make the decision today to forgive and change today and change your future. Don't allow what hurts you to keep haunting you. Don't wish people harm. Don't celebrate their failures. Don't speak poorly of them. Don't desire their revenge. Don't talk about the incident anymore. Oh, y'all, that's a key right there. Stop talking about it. You may think about it, but put those feelings to the side and say, no, I'm forgiving and I'm moving on. Don't talk about the past pain. Deal and heal. Ephesians 4:31 says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. I want you to remember this. It's not just about you. If you hold a grudge, you're teaching your children to hold a grudge. If you don't forgive, you're teaching your children that unforgiveness is okay to have in your heart. If you constantly are talking how bad they are and rehearsing what someone did in your life, you're almost inviting your children in on your offense. Some people carry around other people's offenses because they have been conditioned to do so. Don't do that to your kids. Show your kids that you're bigger than that. Show them how to forgive. Teach them how to forgive. Teach them not to hold grudges and not to be bitter. Teach them that there is freedom when you forgive. Teach them how to let it go. Remember, God is your vindicator. Keep taking the high road. Keep a clear conscience. Focus on your healing and not retaliation. Focus on the hope and not the hurt. Focus on your future and release yourself from the prison of unforgiveness. Don't let what happened to you take away your happiness of today. Don't allow it to steal your joy any longer. Live a lifestyle of forgiveness. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your future. Hope you've enjoyed today. Until this time next week, I hope you have the best day ever.